Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, former State Senator James Settlemeyer joins us here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Oh, what fun it is to win during the $100,000 Christmas giveaways at Tamarack Casino. Up to $17,000 in cash and free play giveaways each week, and over $20,000 in giveaways on New Year's Eve, including up to $10K in cash. Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we are joined by State Senator James Settlemeyer of District 17.
Always a pleasure being back on here, but in actuality, I'm now the former senator.
Already?
Yeah, in Nevada, the citizens rightly stated they didn't want to have a lame duck legislative session. So in Nevada, the legislators actually take seat as soon as the vote is canvassed. Now, when I first started in the legislature, that was literally a couple days. Election would be on Tuesday, counties would get together, certify on Thursday that week, and you're done. This time you had to add an extra week because it takes so long to count all the mail-in ballots. That Nye County was having some issues. And since the new senatorial district actually includes part of Nye County, Senator now, Dr. Titus, couldn't take full title until Nye County was done canvassing. So it's actually a good thing. That way you don't have a lame duck legislative session where the outgoing governor or the outgoing party decides to try to get one more bite of the apple.
If only Congress would be under the same rules,
exactly,
shall we say. So that district is now all the way down to Nye County, another ridiculous Senate district.
It's a very large district, to say the least. They could have kept the population a little more condensed by leaving Story County in it. But now Story County is represented by now Senator Krasner. So in that respect, they did change it around. Obviously, we didn't agree with the maps they put forward, but they did what they wanted to do, and they didn't care what the other side wanted, or what was best, in my opinion, for the citizens of the state.
Let's talk about the vote. First of all, were you comfortable that the voting was legitimate?
Yes. You look at it overall, there's fraud in every single election. Always has been and always will be. Was there enough evidence of fraud that the election could have been changed? No. Are there some voting procedures that are more than questionable? Sending ballots to people that don't exist, to inactive voters in the past that have been done, and also not making sure the vote rolls are cleaned. You know, literally the pictures where you get 17, 20 ballots to a thing. Myself, I think we need to change some laws. We need to provide some more integrity to the voting situation so that the citizens feel more confident in voting, because we've lost that confidence. And we need to go back to that. We need to look at signature verification a little bit closer. And I say that because if you go back, and I'm only familiar, because I hate to say it, but I wasn't up this time, so I didn't do as much analysis. But you go back to the previous election where we operated on mail-in ballot, we had a process called signature cure, which we still have. Your signature didn't match, and so they went ahead and made sure to call you up, contact you, and have you come in and verify that that was your signature. And if you look across Nevada, northern Nevada, the average senatorial district had about 1,200 to 1,800 signatures that had to be cured. Yet amazingly, down in Clark County, it'd only be 26 or 50 votes had to be cured. Tells me they weren't really looking too well at those signatures. And I think you should be. Because the same scrutiny that was used for the recalls of a politician should be the same rules that are used to elect those politicians.
Okay, what do you think about moving up the timing so that we get the results either on election day or pretty rapidly within 24 hours?
Yeah, and part of that, you need to have the due date for the ballots would have to be increased.
Right, and you got any problems? I mean, that just sounds, because so many people were unhappy, because you call Amazon, you get the package, you call for it at 10 in the morning, 5 that afternoon. People vote, they want to get the vote the same day if possible.
And of course the jokes and the memes are pretty hilarious. A state that relies on counting such as blackjack can't figure out how to count a vote. And again, that all comes down to too much time frame. So I agree with you that the ballot should have been due sooner so that way we could have those results sooner. But you have to remember too is you can't start counting until the election is over. You're not allowed to count ahead of time. So yeah, you need to have them all in and cured so you can speed up that process. But the concept of having to feed that many ballots into a Scantron or machine, or not a Scantron, I apologize, that's just my terminology.
Right.
But to feed them into a machine and have them tabulate that takes time. So yes, moving up the deadline would help considerably, and we'd get the results quicker. We'll never get them as quick as when we didn't have this many mail-in ballots. That to me is just a reality.
In talking to a lot of my Republican friends, they have now been saying that election integrity is accurate and, in the way that you described it. But the problem is that, in this past election, it seems like a lot of Republicans stayed home because they didn't think that their vote would be counted accurately. It was kind of a reverse of what happened in 2014 when the Democrats stayed home. Do you agree with that?
Some people have showed the data. Jeremy Hughes on Twitter had a thing showing that Republicans showed up at 10% more than the Democrat Party did in this current election. I actually consider that to be too low, though. With everything that was involved and at stake, I came from Douglas County that in one presidential election, the Republicans showed up at 98%. That was high of the nation, except for those places that showed up at 120, but that's Chicago, that's a whole nother story. But that being said, people showed up and voted, and this time they just didn't. Now, part of it too, with those numbers, you do have to take into account that a lot of people were issued ballots that would never vote because of the automatic voter registration at the DMV. And those people never had any desire to vote, never wanted to vote, but we went ahead and spent the money and sent them a ballot.
Okay, but so that would depress the percentages.
Correct.
But in terms of people who are complaining on the Republican side that folks just did not come out on the Republican side and actually vote, and that cost them several wins.
I would agree with that 100%. You look at the very closest one, I think, would be the Clark County Commissioner who lost. Justin Jones was able to retain his seat, and I think he would have lost if more Republicans clearly would have. I think we only needed under 416 votes. Okay,
so that brings up to my mind a marketing strategy, which is it was marketed for so long that the voting was fraudulent, the balloting was fraudulent, everything was fraudulent, and you can't trust the vote. And now you have to reverse that if you want to get people to come out. Oh. So how does one do that without hiring, a top PR firm to run a campaign that says your vote does actually count? It's really important that you actually do go out and vote. And if you want good quality candidates, you got to go out there and vote for them.
Well, I go back to the very beginning when I was running. People would say, well, I don't necessarily believe in, early voting. And maybe I was a little bit of a smarty pants back then, but I'd actually say, well, if you're voting for me, vote right away. If you're not going to vote for me, you should probably wait till Wednesday of election week. That sounds kind of funny, a little bit of a joke, but the Republicans need to realize that everybody needs to vote, and by voting early, the benefit for candidates especially, and for those people who do vote early, is that sophisticated campaigns take you off of their voter list. What type of fool would continue to pester you to vote if you've already voted? And so the sophisticated campaigns do just that. And so myself, I vote the very first day of early voting, and my mail goes down by at least 80%.
You know, it's funny. I was always the person who voted on election day. And I always, thought under the rubric of, something could happen in the last minute and I find out that this person is a convicted criminal and I shouldn't be voting for them. Yeah. And then a couple of times we were going to be out of town. We voted early. We went to the Old Town Mall in Reno, and there was almost nobody there. You got in, you voted, you got out. You didn't have to be down on election day at 7 a.m., freezing cold, standing outside Bartley Ranch. And I suddenly went, this is a really good idea. I'll take my chances. Early voting makes all the sense in the world to me.
Oh, and even the ballot drop-off boxes, there are a lot of people that were concerned about the mail, because we all know that if you're sending your check to the IRS, you're not as concerned about it getting there. Yet if it's a check from the IRS, then you're really concerned that the mail is going to mess it up.
I don't know. I'm actually certifying the mail in either direction on that one, because you want to make sure that you've got some evidence that the IRS actually received your check. But your point is well taken. So, but that's going to be a big issue for the next 2 years if Republicans want to get more people to vote for Republicans. I think they have to get them out voting early, and they have to give them confidence that their vote actually counts. Because, in a way, this has been self-suicide, that the party has said the voting is not valid, and then they end up not getting the votes.
There are problems and issues in every election, and I said that. And you still have problems and issues that need to be corrected. We need some laws to correct some of the problems and the fraud and the appearance of impropriety within the process. But there is no doubt to me that if sufficient numbers of individuals show up and vote, it overcapacitates those problems.
Right, right.
And that's what it really comes down to. Do I think we can improve it? I think you can always improve the electoral process in order to make it easier and more consistent. I had a bill that tried to have consistency among the 17 counties on their early voting. Because to me, you should have that consistency across the state. You should have one set of rules, not different. Some counties during early voting, you show up at 7 o'clock and you're done. That person at the end of 7 o'clock is in line. Everybody else from that point is told, come back tomorrow. Then you have Clark County, whatever time you get here, we'll let you vote until the last person in line is voted. We don't care if that's 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night during early voting. There's no consistency. Let's have the same rules for everybody.
Let's talk about Nevada's color as a state. For a long time, we've been told it's turning bluer and bluer and bluer. The people are coming from California. It's turning bluer and bluer. And all of a sudden, we have 3 of the constitutional offices are Republicans, including the governor. Are we a purple state? Are we a blue state? Could we potentially be a red state again? What are your thoughts?
My thought on that is really it comes down to what office are we talking about. I believe that constitutional offices, people across the board, we're more of in a purple realm. We lean blue, and there's more Democrats currently, registration-wise. But then again, the largest growing segment is independents, nonpartisans.
So what do you think about that?
I think that's because a lot of people are disgusted with both parties, and they don't want to participate in that process. So some people are saying that's why we should go ahead and open up, the primaries, so that everybody can vote at all times.
This ranked choice.
And
you like that?
Not particularly. I look at the concept. I had a process I wanted, which was modified open, which would allow the top 2 of competing political parties to go forward. I myself, when I go to a ballot box, I don't want a choice between Coors and Coors Light or Bud and Bud Light. I'd like to see maybe a Heineken and something else. A true choice, not just a color version change of the same.
This is politics for beer drinkers.
Well, I did have a few bills on liquor during the legislative sessions. You can look those up, so maybe that's where it comes from. But no, I think people should have a choice. I worry that the current system is going to potentially put a bunch of people forward that there's not much difference. There's not a choice.
That's something that's been said from the top down, whether you're a fan of Mitch McConnell or not. The quality of candidates, who in their right mind, and I apologize because you have run many times and you were a friend, but there's a lot of people who are smart as you who wouldn't even dream of running for elective office because of all the vitriol and slamming against their families, their personal life. I mean, look what happened in this last week, this lawsuit fired by the mayor of Reno, Hillary Sheevey, because somebody put a tracker on her car. How disgusting is that?
I agree. I found a GPS tracker on my car one time, but it was a family member who did it to me. And I was disgusted enough by that, let alone if it could have, for a while I didn't know who did it. And so it was going through my mind, is this political? Is somebody trying to track me? What's going on? What an invasion of privacy. And it's disgusting. And obviously, to me, clearly within the law, the private investigator has no ability to claim attorney-client privilege. He's going to have to give up whoever that individual is. They're indicating they're going to list them as a co-conspirator, and rightly so. And whoever that is should have the full weight of the law thrown against them.
Has that moved from a civil suit to where the DA is looking into this? Do you know at this point?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I hope that it's beyond civil. I would hope that the powers that would be would, realize that this is pretty heinous. But let's face it, the burden of proof for a criminal case, is much, much higher than a civil case. You have to guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, so you're basically 98% guaranteed to be guilty versus preponderance of evidence, which is just 51% in a civil case.
What concerns you about the split in both parties, where you have the extremes? And is this the reason why we're seeing so many people registering as independents? Is the two extremes are just driving people nuts?
Potentially so. When we were in the majority in 2015 session, you ran into the situation where even our own party, we wouldn't get along with each other. It was difficult to get things done. And their party, the other side of the aisle rather, the Democratic Party, tends to coalesce and do what whoever the leader is says to do. And that to me is dangerous. I think we need to not do what is right for the Republican Party or the Democrat Party. Let's see what's best for Nevadans. And to me, in many respects, that's more of a libertarian slant. For a long time, we were a state, and I want to still be that state, where people were allowed to kind of do what they wanted as long as they weren't injuring others.
Libertarians were an interesting concept. The only problem was they couldn't get elected, and so they became Republicans. Let's take a break. More with James Settlemeyer after this time out.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Snorkel personnel lifts are engineered beyond the industry norm to an uncommon level of safety and durability, and with an eye towards sustainability. They're also designed to be simple to operate and maintain. Snorkel, always at the cutting edge of progress.
Truck drivers are some of the hardest working people you'll meet, delivering over 70% of America's freight and 92% of Nevada's. When there's a natural disaster, they're delivering critical supplies to help those communities recover and rebuild. Every sector of the economy and our nation's military rely on truck drivers. So let's take a moment to say thank you. On the open road or city streets, our truck drivers are rolling to make our economy and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
With Nevada's only transplant center and verified burn center, the science is here. With award-winning cardiologist and the state's only dedicated heart failure clinic, the talent is here. With Nevada's most advanced robotic surgery, the technology is here. And with the Silver State's only designated pediatric trauma center, hope is here. All because we are here. UMC.
I'm here at the Carson Valley Inn in Minden with Joey Whitaker, and you've got a lot of convention space and meeting breakout space for people. Tell us about what's available.
Well, we can handle a group up to about 250, and anywhere as small as 10 or 15. So it really depends on what you're looking for, what the customer's looking for. We're open to anything. It's a beautiful drive, and if you live in South Reno, it's probably about 30-35 minutes, so it's real easy to get to. It's not a long way to get away to the Carson Valley Inn.
Oh, what fun it is to win during the $100,000 Christmas giveaways at Tamarack Casino. Up to $17,000 in cash and free play giveaways each week, and over $20,000 in giveaways on New Year's Eve, including up to $10K in cash. Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with former State Senator James Settlemeyer of District 17. This upcoming session of the legislature, it's going to be interesting. You've got a supermajority in one house, one seat shy of a supermajority in the other house, both on the Democratic side, and then a Republican governor. What do you anticipate to be the issues in a session that's going to have plenty of money to spend?
Education is always the issue, always has been, always will be, because that's the lion's share of the budget. But the budget is also the issue. You have an outgoing governor, and whenever you have an outgoing governor, there's usually not much time for the incoming governor to write their own budget, because they're not given the outgoing governor's budget until literally January 1st, and then you have session on February. That doesn't give you much time. So,
yeah, in fact, the reality is that almost zero of the budget is the new governor's budget the first time around, right?
You get about 5–10%.
Yeah.
You know, you try to go in there and see the major stuff that needs to be changed in order to affect it. But it'll be interesting to see if Governor Lombardo has the ability, his team, to get in there and make significant changes to a budget that I'm told is completely problematic.
In what way?
Giving everybody everything. You know, all the promises that were made during the campaign of trying to give everything to everybody. And that's going to be difficult on limited resources, especially because some of them are domino effects. So you give it once, that's not just the issue of giving somebody money once, and we kept running into that problem during the interim finance committee. He would want to put money into programs that were one-shot money. Well, then what happens in 3 years? Where are we going to find the money for this particular program? It's not that this isn't a great program, but how are we going to fund it? We should figure that out now. No, just fund it and we'll figure it out later where we're going to get the money. That's not realistic.
And it sounds like a tax increase.
It'll lead to it, yeah.
All right, let's take another break. We'll be right back after this.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
Snorkel personnel lifts are engineered beyond the industry norm to an uncommon level of safety and durability, and with an eye towards sustainability. They're also designed to be simple to operate and maintain. Snorkel, always at the cutting edge of progress.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers with former State Senator James Settlemeyer. So what do you think is going to be the biggest area of contention in this next session?
You know, I think that everybody's going to have their bills, but again, it always comes back to the budget. Mr. Lombardo made a promise about school choice, and education is always a very heated subject and discussion. It is the largest portion of the budget, and let's face it, the system is broken. and it needs to be fixed. We need to do more for our kids.
And do you think he can fix it?
I think so. I absolutely think that there is an opportunity to get in there and fix some of the systemic problems that have existed within education.
All right, so my next question is, will I see you in Carson City?
Not as of right now. We'll have to wait.
No, I don't mean as a legislature. I mean on the show.
Oh,
I need your commentary throughout the session. So look forward to seeing you there.
I look forward to seeing you in Carson City. We'll probably be back at the bank.
Yes, sir, in the back of the bar.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll be right back. I'm here at the Carson Valley Inn in Minden with Joey Whitaker. One of the things I love about the Carson Valley Inn here in beautiful downtown Minden is CV steak. I have eaten here so many times. Tell folks what they can expect when they come here to eat.
It's a beautiful room, great service. We have certified Angus beef, seafood, lamb, a great range of appetizers, and wonderful desserts. Jean-Michel's done a great job of selecting some beautiful wines for us. The customers love it, and we've got a great selection of cocktails as well. It's not a long way to get away to the Carson Valley Inn.
Hi, I'm Renee Summerhour, digital news anchor here at 7 at 7. Watch our streaming nonstop newscast immediately with your mobile phone. 7 at 7 is the new way for you to get every bit of local news you need in just 7 minutes. Breaking news, local neighborhood news, weather, and sports are just a click away. Reporters bring you all of what's happening in the Valley. From Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and more. Get every bit of local news you need from the RJ and LVRJ.com.
Brian Culpa Photography was born in the rolling hills of Massachusetts, and now he can help you experience the stunning beauty of Nevada in a whole new way through the power of flight. Flying has always been a passion for Brian, and at Brian Culpa Photography, he can make your imagination soar. Brian has the creative mind and tools to tell your unique story. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
Oh, what fun it is to win during the $100,000 Christmas giveaways at Tamarack Casino.
Nevada Newsmakers Studio is located at the headquarters of the Nevada Trucking Association. Motion and purpose are a truck's greatest virtue.
As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers 24 hours a day at NevadaNewsmakers.com. See you on the next show.